protein, things like that. So we brought it to you. Here it is.
My experience doing veganism after a long time, after 10 years, was my body was starting to, my immune system was collapsing.
I can understand where Daniel's coming from, but if you listen to what Daniel ate as a raw vegan, we can understand why he had so many challenges as a vegan. Because if you eat this as a raw vegan, you obviously have minimal to zero nutritional knowledge or basic understanding of human physiology. Now, I don't want to make things up, so let's hear Daniel share it. Listen to this.
You know, as somebody who was a raw vegan for many years, my calorie sources were basically coconut oil, olive oil, and kale. That was basically what I was eating, and you know, with some tertiary foods, but that was the main stuff.
I mean, who's going to last on that sort of program? You know what I mean? It's like me saying, I was a cyclist for 10 years, and you know, I really, you know, didn't really enjoy it. I had a lot of crashes, and someone says, "Well, what did you do?" I said, "Oh, I actually never rode my bike holding the handlebars. I tried to ride no hands or one hand most of the time, and yeah, cycling's just not for me. So I drive a car now. It's a lot safer." I understand. All right, let's get back into it.
My nervous system was collapsing, and I felt like I couldn't process nerve energy without short-circuiting.
I mean, how do we objectify that? If we went into a doctor's surgery and said, "Doctor, I can't process my nerve energy correctly without short-circuiting." I mean, is the doctor going to recommend us to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or are they going to say, "Yeah, I totally hear you, you're a vegan," because that's really common. I mean, what are they going to say?
In the same way that it's hard to run electronics without an insulative covering over the wiring. DHA kind of functions like a coating on the wires. You know, another thing that is in animal...
And DHA and EPA is produced in the human body. DHA and EPA aren't even registered by the National Health Institute as required human nutrients because we make them. So it's also interesting to note that the people in the health industry that promote the animal food diets, Dr. Atkins, McCullough, Mark Sisson, all those crew, great people, but the diets are, you know, sketchy at best, and they're saying you can't get DHA, EPA as a vegan, or B12, or protein, or calcium, or iron, or zinc, and they all sell those supplements. You know, so they say, don't eat that diet because you won't get enough nutrients. Eat my diet that I've just made up out of the blue, and we'll sell you our nutrients as well. We'll sell you our colostrum, we'll sell you our little protein powders, we'll sell you the zinc, we'll sell you the B12 stuff. But you can't be a vegan because you won't get enough of those things. But you eat my diet and then we'll sell you those things as well. It doesn't make any sense, but it makes a lot of dollars. Let's listen on.
Food, animal fat, and probably one of the most...
Animal fat? I mean, like, why not? Well, do we need any more fat? Do we need more body fat from animals? I mean, don't we have enough fat in society or Western society, or is maybe we're obese, maybe 67% of Australians and Americans are overweight or obese because we're eating too many bananas. That's what the problem is. You go to the supermarket, everyone's binging on bananas. And watermelons. See, just watermelons causing the obesity epidemic. It's not animal fat. I mean, the fat you eat is the fat you wear? Not true.
Most important is cholesterol. And that's the big one. I mean, people have there's a huge myth about cholesterol.
There's a myth about cholesterol. Okay, so we need more cholesterol. So Australians, Americans, Europeans need more cholesterol. They're not eating enough. So we've got high cholesterol because we're not eating enough. Okay.
And people think they need to avoid cholesterol. Cholesterol is...
No, we need to eat more of it. More is better. Even Stephen Burns was a famous promoter of the Weston Price Foundation's work, which is a low-carb, high-fat, animal-based diet. And unfortunately, you know, my condolences to Stephen's family. He died at age 41 of a massive stroke. You know, and he said, you don't have to worry about cholesterol. And the poor man died of stroke. So let's not have any more deaths. My housemate last year, she died from renal failure after getting food poisoning from eating raw animal products and doing a water fast and the complications that arose from that. So, you know, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just trying to put the facts out there because people are dying. And how many people do you know have died from eating too much fruit? Zero, ever. You know, unless you choke on a banana. I guess some people want to see me choke on a banana. Let's listen in.
One of the most important foods for us, one of the most important substances for us, we use cholesterol to make all of our gonadal hormones. Testosterone.
And that's why the human body produces testosterone, it produces cholesterol. You know, I mean, check out my cholesterol and testosterone blood tests on YouTube. Always textbook.
It's made from cholesterol. Estrogen is made from cholesterol. Progesterone is made from cholesterol. We need cholesterol for all of our phospholipids, our cell.
Don't you love Daniel's soundbites? He's good. I've got to give thumbs up. The guy knows how to talk. There's no doubt about that.
Membranes, that what holds us together. Leo Keith said it best. What keeps us from being, we're 75% water, what keeps us from being a puddle on the ground is cholesterol. It's this substance that we coat the water in. And a lot of times vegans will say, well, your body makes its own cholesterol. Your body makes its own cholesterol because without cholesterol, you die.
So it's true. We do produce our own cholesterol. So why do we need to add more? Let's see if Daniel answers that question. Why do humans need more cholesterol if we produce it ourselves?
You need cholesterol so much that your body makes it itself so that in times of famine, you don't die. You know, your body doesn't make vitamin C.
So you didn't answer the question. You just sort of skirt around a little bit.
Most animals, almost all animals, make their own vitamin C. Human beings don't need to because there's so much in our environment that you literally have to go out on a ship for 6 months in the ocean to become deficient in vitamin C, but it's in everything. But not so with cholesterol. It's very easy for traditional tribal peoples to become deficient. If the hunting's bad, they don't have enough cholesterol, your body makes it its own.
I've never, ever met or heard of anyone who's read a journal that says humans do not get enough cholesterol. I've never, ever heard of that. There's not even a medical word for cholesterol deficiency. You know. But hey, it sells books, man. It sells books. People love to hear good things about their bad habits. That's how Dr. Atkins became like a billion-dollar industry. Tell people to eat bacon, eggs for breakfast. Hey, no worries. And now today we're saying, eat bacon, eggs for breakfast, but make sure it's organic. Make sure it's grass-fed. That's okay, man. If you've got cholesterol problems, that's probably because your next door neighbour ate a banana, and the fumes from that banana, and it swept over your consciousness, and you manifested high cholesterol levels, you manifested the stroke. So just move away from those people who eat the bananas, and then everything will be okay. And eat more bacon and eggs. Sweet.
But it doesn't really have the ability to make as much as you fully need to thrive.
Again, it says who? Sally Fallon from the Western A. Price Foundation. It says Daniel Vitalis. Who says that? You know? Who says the human body doesn't produce enough cholesterol?
So, not only do long-term vegans often suffer from essential fatty acid deficiencies.
I've talked to over 20 doctors in Australia. I said, can you please test me for EPA, DHA, omega-3? They're like, what's EPA? What's DHA? Omega-3? I know what that is, but no, we don't have a test for that. Over 20 doctors. You know, so this whole thing of, you don't get enough, whatever. I mean, in fish, if you've got, you know, if you've got salmon, you get 100 grams of salmon's flesh. You just bite into it like a bear would. We wouldn't. You bite into it, you get 100 grams of flesh. It's got about 0.3 of a gram of omega-3s in there. Flax seeds or chia seeds have got over 23 grams. So you've got 0.3 of a gram versus 23 grams in flax without the mercury, without the cholesterol, without the whole crazy fishing industry thing, without the uric acid, without all these saturated fats, excess things. You know what I mean? So, and again, the people who promote these high-fat animal diets, they sell fish oil, they sell krill oil. They say, we won't get enough DHA as a vegan, but buy my DHA supplement anyway, because we buy it for pennies and we sell it for pounds, man, because it's just industrial waste product. And again, it doesn't make any sense, but it makes the dollars.
Suffer from cholesterol deficiencies, they can suffer from...
Cholesterol deficiency, what's the medical word for cholesterol deficiency, Daniel?
Vitamin deficiencies.
Can't everyone suffer from vitamin deficiencies? Didn't a Tufts University recently put out a study that said over 39% of Americans, US citizens, have a B12 deficiency or borderline? 39%.
Especially B12.
Again, refer to that study.
Methylcobalamin. So most of these things take years to show up. For me, it took years to show up. I felt great.
Yeah, because you're eating like the olive oil, coconut oil, kale raw vegan diet or whatever it was.
For the first 5 years, I felt really bad. The second 5.
So it took you that long to...
Yeah, because if you're relatively healthy when you begin, you have huge stores. It's like if you have $1 million in the bank, you can spend big every day, every day, every day, every day. But if you're not paying attention, one day the money's gone. And what do you do then? And you might...
You take superfoods. You do drugs to get energy.
be able to
You eat animal products because you think maybe that might work.
burn up, which
Anything but eat carbohydrates. Anything but eat carbohydrate diet. Anything.
stored in your body for years and years and years and years and years, and one day it's gone. And if you've spent your whole life going, or you've spent the last 5 years, say, going around telling everyone how great you feel and how you're on the best diet that exists, and it's the most natural diet for us, and you've put all this energy into creating a personality that's so deeply associated to what you eat, then when things start to go wrong, it's very difficult to admit it to yourself, no less admit it to other people, especially if you...
Definitely, I totally agree with Daniel there. Because a lot of people, they're eating a certain diet, and then they're sort of like not really being too transparent, and they're making fun of other people's recommendations. And that's why I put my blood tests on YouTube, to provide transparency. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people say, oh, you can't eat 30 bananas a day, that's not good. Okay, look at my blood tests. Look at me. Look at my physical performances, drug-free. What's going on here? So I agree that it can become people's identity. It's like why a lot of people don't want to give up eating flesh is because they're like, oh, meat makes me strong or whatever, and they've got this identity thing, or, I'm a cow farmer and I kill animals because killing's good. They've got this identity. I'm a hunter and I blow the brains off turkeys, man. We've got this identity that we don't want to give up. Most people would rather die than change their diets to a healthier option, to a plant-based sort of thing. So I agree with Daniel with that. We can get caught in our identity. So make sure you align your identity with something that's sustainable. Health, environment, physical, sustainable.
Maybe written books about it, or if you've created websites about it, and you feel backed into a corner like you can't tell, if you've been the vegan guy for the last, 10...
Or if you've been the meat eater guy, for the last 30 years, it's hard to go vegan.
In years, it's really difficult to say, hey, I might have been wrong about this. So a lot of people...
Again, Daniel's another vegan vegetarian who did the starvation diet, the high-fat thing, hated life, understandably. It's not because Daniel's weak in character or anything, it's just he just did the wrong thing. It's like, again, my analogy, ride the bike with no hands, you're going to have a crash eventually. So it's not about anyone's character or whatever, it's just lack of information and lack of procedure. Incorrect procedure will give you the less and best results.
People end up really stuck in a paradigm, and they can't... I don't think they're trying to lie to other people. I think we don't want to admit to ourselves because of what it would mean. We'd have to redefine ourselves. It's a really delicate and dangerous game when you start to make a person...
I think that's why a lot of people don't do competitive sport in the health movement, because they realise how out of shape they really are. That's why a lot of people don't put their blood tests on YouTube, because they're like, no, I don't want to prove how sick I am. So it's why a lot of people don't want to do YouTubes without their shirt off. Because they're like, I don't want to show people my big fat gut and man boobs.
And do you think that it's possible to do the vegan diet in the long term?
I think that there's animals that exist that... Actually, let me share this.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't answer the question. Just...
What I believe is that Homo sapiens estimated by anthropologists to be about 200,000-year-old species.
Typical politician, maybe I'm getting a bit personal, but it's a typical politician's response. It's like, I want to answer the question, a direct question, yes or no. I'll just scoot around it, distract, hopefully people forget what the original question was, and I'll just use some good sound bites, sophisticated languaging, and then people go, yeah, wow, he knows what he's talking about.
And the first humans we called them Cro-Magnon. Now there's really no debate in the scientific community that Cro-Magnon was cooking and eating animals.
So Daniel promotes a cooked diet, promotes an animal-based diet, and he's a leader in the raw food movement, self-proclaimed. Interesting. Can't process nerve energy effectively. I need more cholesterol. Please donate your excess cholesterol and send it to me. Thank you.